I'm sitting at Sunday dinner, pushing mashed potatoes around my plate. My stepmother, Victoria, is talking about her daughter again. Amber just got accepted into some fancy art program. Victoria's eyes shine as she describes it. Amber has such natural talent, Victoria says, glancing at me. Some people are just born with it, you know? Her smile doesn't reach her eyes when she looks my way. Dad nods, cutting his steak. That's wonderful, honey, I stay quiet. I've learned that's easier. Victoria married Dad 3 years ago, when I was 15. She brought Amber, who's 2 years older than me. Since then, every family gathering feels like a competition I didn't sign up for. Riley, how's school? Dad asks, trying to include me. Fine, I say softly. Victoria laughs. Fine. That's all we ever get from you. Amber tells me everything about her life. She pats Dad's hand. At least one daughter knows how to communicate. My chest tightens, but I don't respond. Dad looks uncomfortable but says nothing. He never does. I finish eating quickly, excusing myself to my room. Upstairs, I text my best friend Emma, another dinner, another comparison. She responds with a heart emoji. At least someone gets it. I wasn't always this quiet. Mom died when I was 12. She was my whole world, warm, encouraging, always believing in me. We'd bake together on weekends, and she'd help me with homework while telling silly jokes. After she passed, Dad buried himself in work. I understood. Grief hits everyone differently. But the house felt empty without her laughter. I'd find myself talking to her photos, imagining what she'd say. 2 years later, Dad met Victoria at some work conference. She was elegant, confident, always dressed perfectly. He seemed happier around her, so I tried to be happy too. I wanted Dad to smile again, but when Victoria moved in with Amber, everything changed. Suddenly, our quiet home had new rules, new schedules, new expectations. Victoria reorganized everything, including the way Dad saw me. Amber was everything I wasn't. Outgoing, artistic, social. She had opinions about everything and wasn't afraid to share them. Victoria praised her constantly. Dad started comparing us too, though he tried to hide it. I remember Mom saying, "Riley, you're special just as you are." I held those words close, especially during family dinners when Victoria would sigh at my silence or criticize my choices. The comparison hurt most because it felt never-ending. No matter what I did, Amber did it better in Victoria's eyes. Tuesday after school, I'm in my room working on a biology project. I love science. It's logical, predictable, safe. Unlike family dynamics, chemical reactions make sense. Victoria knocks and enters without waiting for my answer. She looks around my room with barely hidden disapproval. My space is simple. Books, a desk, my laptop, photos of Mum. Riley, we need to talk about your attitude, she says, sitting on my bed. I look up from my microscope. My attitude? You barely speak at dinner. You hide in here constantly. It's disrespectful to your father and me. She crosses her arms. Amber makes an effort. Why can't you? I bite my lip. I'm just quiet. That's who I am. Well, maybe you should try being someone else, Victoria says sharply. Your father worries about you. He thinks you're struggling. I'm fine, I insist. Victoria stands. You know, Amber faced challenges too after her father left. But she didn't shut down. She bloomed. She walks to the door. You could learn from her. After she leaves, I sit frozen. The comparison stings deeper each time. I text Emma. She wants me to be Amber. Emma replies, "You're perfect as Riley." But sitting alone in my room, I don't feel perfect. I feel invisible. That weekend, Victoria hosts a garden party. The backyard fills with her friends, fancy appetizers on every table. Amber floats through the crowd in a sundress, charming everyone. I'm helping in the kitchen when I overhear Victoria talking to her friend Margaret. Riley's so different from Amber, Victoria says. My daughter has drive, ambition. But Riley. She trails off meaningfully. Every child develops differently, Margaret offers. Victoria laughs. I suppose. But honestly, sometimes I wonder if she's even trying. She has every opportunity here, yet she acts like she's burdened by our presence. My hands shake as I arrange crackers on a plate. I want to march out there and defend myself. But what would I say? That I'm grieving? That I miss my mum? That no matter what I do, I'll never be Amber? Instead, I finish the platter and slip upstairs. Through my window, I watch the party continue. Amber's laughing with guests. Victoria's beaming with pride. Dad's smiling, looking more relaxed than I've seen him in months. Maybe Victoria's right. Maybe I am the problem. I pull out my laptop and search, how to be more outgoing. The results blur as tears fill my eyes. Why can't I just be enough as I am? School becomes my escape. I throw myself into academics, especially biology. My teacher, Mrs. Chen, notices my dedication. Riley, have you considered the science fair? She asks after class one day. Your work on genetic inheritance is excellent. I hesitate. I don't know. That's kind of public. Mrs. Chen smiles kindly. Sometimes we surprise ourselves with what we can do. Think about it. I do think about it. For days, I research genetic patterns, DNA markers, hereditary traits. It's fascinating how much of who we are comes from our biological makeup. How traits pass from parent to child in predictable ways. At dinner, I mention the science fair. Mrs. Chen thinks I should enter. Dad looks up, interested. That's great, Riley. Victoria barely glances from her phone. Amber won her school's art competition. Did I tell you? First place. That's nice, I say quietly. Dad tries again. Riley, what would your project be about? Genetics? How DNA determines traits? Amber laughs. Sounds boring. Who cares about that stuff? Victoria nods. Art is about expression, creativity. Science is just memorizing facts. I feel my face flush. It's more than that. It's understanding how. Riley, don't argue. Victoria cuts me off. We're happy you're interested in something. Even if it's not particularly exciting, I stop trying to explain. They wouldn't understand anyway. I start my science fair project in secret. After school, I work in the library, researching DNA testing methods, inheritance patterns, dominant and recessive genes. Emma helps me create presentation boards. This is actually cool, she says, reading my research. I never knew eye color was so complicated, right? Like, two brown-eyed parents can have a blue-eyed child if they both carry the recessive gene. I'm explaining enthusiastically when I realize I sound like a total nerd, but Emma's genuinely interested. What about other traits? Like hair texture or height? We dive into research together. I learn about genetic markers, how they're inherited, how DNA testing can reveal ancestry and paternity. It's all so logical, so clear-cut. Unlike my messy family situation, genetics follows rules. One article catches my eye, how DNA testing changed my family. I read about a woman who discovered unexpected connections through a home DNA kit. Her whole family tree shifted because of one test. I bookmark it, then return to my project. But the idea lingers. What if I did a DNA test? Just for my project, to understand my own genetic markers. It would make my research more personal, more real. I push the thought away. That's too invasive. Too personal. Right? Victoria's criticism intensifies. At dinner 3 nights later, she's comparing us again. Amber's been invited to showcase her art at a gallery downtown, Victoria announces proudly. The youngest artist they've ever featured. Wow, that's amazing, Dad says. I offer a small smile. Congratulations, Amber. Amber grins. Thanks. It's going to be a big event. Everyone will be there. Victoria turns to me. Riley, you should go. Maybe some of Amber's talent will rub off on you. The words sting. I have my own interests, I say quietly. Like what? Hiding in your room? Victoria laughs like it's a joke, but her eyes are cold. Honestly, Riley, you can't be compared to Amber. She's driven, talented, social. Well, you're trying your best, I suppose. Dad shifts uncomfortably. Victoria, that's not. I'm just being honest, honey. Riley needs to hear it. She has potential, but she'll never reach it if she keeps being so average. The word hangs in the air. Average. In Victoria's mind, I'm just average. Nothing special. Nothing worth celebrating. I excuse myself, my appetite gone. In my room, I cry into my pillow. Mum would never have said that. Mum thought I was extraordinary. The next day, I'm angry. The determination Mum used to talk about finally kicks in. I'm tired of being compared, dismissed, overlooked. I make a decision. I'll order a DNA testing kit for my science project. It'll give me real data about my genetic makeup. Plus, maybe I'll find some distant relatives, some connection to people who might actually appreciate me. I use birthday money saved up in my drawer. The kit arrives in 3 days, a simple box with instructions, a cheek swab, and a prepaid envelope. Following the directions carefully, I swab the inside of my cheek, seal the sample, and mail it off. The website says results take 4 to 6 weeks. I feel oddly nervous. It's just genetics, I tell myself. Just data. But part of me hopes I'll discover something interesting, something that makes me feel special. Meanwhile, I continue working on my project. I create charts about inheritance patterns, explanations of DNA structure, examples of genetic traits. Mrs. Chen is impressed with my progress. This is advanced work, Riley, she says, reviewing my boards. Have you considered studying genetics in college? The idea hadn't occurred to me. But suddenly, I can picture it, a career in science, a place where logic matters more than personality, where being quiet doesn't make you less than. Maybe, I tell her. Yeah, maybe I will. Amber's gallery showing is this Saturday. The whole week, Victoria talks about nothing else. What Amber will wear, who's attending, how proud she is. You should come, Riley, Dad suggests over breakfast. Support your sister, stepsister, I correct quietly. Victoria's head snaps up. Excuse me, she's my stepsister. Not my sister. The temperature in the room drops. Victoria's face hardens. After everything we've done for you, that's how you see us? As strangers? I didn't mean. No, you've made yourself clear. Victoria stands. We've tried to include you, to make you part of this family. But you're determined to stay separate. Dad looks between us, helpless. Girls, please. I grab my backpack. I have to get to school. Outside, my hands shake. Why did I say that? Why couldn't I just keep quiet like always? But I'm so tired of pretending. They're not my family. Not really. Victoria makes sure I know it every single day. Emma meets me at my locker. One look at my face and she hugs me. Rough morning? The worst, I whisper. She squeezes tighter. Come to my house after school. Mom's making cookies. I nod, grateful for real family, even if it's not my own. Saturday arrives. I decide to go to Amber's showing. Not because Victoria wants me there, but because I want to prove I can be supportive despite everything. The gallery is downtown, modern and sleek. Amber's paintings hang on white walls, each one vibrant and emotional. I have to admit, she's talented. Her use of color is striking. Her subjects raw and real. Victoria holds court in the center of the room, introducing Amber to important-looking people. Dad stands beside her, proud but quiet. I hover near the refreshment table, trying to be invisible. Riley. Amber approaches, surprisingly friendly. You came. Your work is beautiful, I say honestly. She grins. Thanks. It means a lot that you're here. For a moment, she seems genuine. Like maybe we could be friends. Then Victoria appears. Amber, the critic from the Tribune wants to speak with you. She barely glances at me. Riley, try not to lurk in the corner. It makes the family look bad. Amber gives me an apologetic look before following Victoria. I'm left standing alone, feeling stupid for thinking anything would be different. I leave early, walking home in the cool evening air. My phone buzzes, an email notification. My DNA results are ready. I wait until I'm home, door locked, before opening my laptop. My hands tremble as I log in to the DNA website. This is it. My genetic blueprint, my ancestry, my biological story. The results load. I scan through them quickly. Ancestry, European mix, primarily British and Irish, some German. Health predispositions, all that normal. Then I scroll to the relatives section. There are the expected connections, second cousins, third cousins, people I've never heard of. But then I see something strange. A close relative match, 50% DNA shared. That means parent or sibling. My heart pounds. That doesn't make sense. Dad is my parent. I already know that. Unless, I click on the profile. Female. Her account name is just JB. Her age range is listed as 45-50. The relationship is marked clearly, likely parent or full sibling. I stare at the screen, confused. This woman shares half my DNA. But mom's gone. Could I have an aunt I never knew about? A sibling dad never mentioned? I'm about to message her when another thought hits me. What if I test dad's DNA too? Just to confirm our connection for my science project. It would be good comparative data. The idea feels intrusive, but I'm too curious now. I order another kit, overnight shipping. The kit arrives Sunday. Dad's out playing golf with co-workers. Victoria and Amber are at brunch with friends. I'm alone. I find one of Dad's toothbrushes in his bathroom, carefully collecting cells from the bristles. It's not the recommended method, but websites say it can work. I seal the sample, fill out the forms using a fake name, and mail it priority. Guilt gnaws at me. I'm testing my dad's DNA without permission. But I need to understand that 50% match. I need to know who JB is. The next few days crawl by. I check the testing website obsessively, waiting for Dad's results. At school, I can barely concentrate. Mrs. Chen asks if I'm feeling okay, just nervous about the science fair. I lie. She pats my shoulder. You're going to do wonderfully. But science fair feels unimportant now. All I can think about is that mysterious match. Who is she? Why does she share so much DNA with me? At home, I watch Dad carefully. He seems normal, tired from work, distracted by bills, trying to keep Victoria happy. Just Dad. My dad. Right? The uncertainty is killing me. I need those results. 10 days later, Dad's results post. I'm in my room after school when the email arrives. My finger hovers over the link, almost afraid to click. Finally, I do. The page loads. I scan through his ancestry, similar to mine, as expected. Then I go to the relatives section. My stomach drops. I see my own profile listed as a match. But it doesn't say 50%, parent-child. It says 25%, niece or granddaughter. The same as a half-sibling relationship. No, that's wrong. That's impossible. Dad is my father. I have his eyes, his quiet nature. Mom always said I was his mini-me. But genetics don't lie. If we only shared 25% DNA, that means... What? He's my uncle? He adopted me? There was some mistake at the hospital. My mind races through possibilities, each one more disturbing than the last. I grab my phone to call Emma, then stop. What would I even say? Hey, I think my dad might not be my biological father. Instead, I message JB through the DNA website. Hi. I see we're a close match. Can we talk? I'm trying to understand my family tree. I hit send before I can overthink it. Now I wait. Again, the house feels different suddenly. Every photo of me and Dad, every memory, it all feels uncertain now. Who am I really? JB responds within an hour. Riley? Is that you? She knows my name. My real name. Ice floods my veins. I type back, how do you know who I am? 3 dots appear, disappear, appear again. Finally, because I'm your mother, I read the words 5 times. They don't make sense. My mother died 6 years ago. I was at her funeral. I cried over her casket. I visit her grave every month. My hands shake as I type. My mother passed away when I was 12. JB, the woman who raised you passed away. But I gave birth to you, Riley. I was 17. I couldn't keep you. I'm so sorry. The room spins. I close my laptop, backing away from it like it might explode. This is crazy. This is some scam. It has to be. But the DNA doesn't lie. 50% match. Parent-child relationship. And Dad's test showing only 25%. The math is adding up in a way that destroys everything I thought I knew. I open the laptop again. My fingers hover over the keyboard. Finally, I type, tell me everything. JB's story pours out in messages. She was 17, scared, from a strict family. She got pregnant by her boyfriend. When her parents found out, they sent her away to a special home for unwed mothers. Your father, your biological father, wanted to keep you, she writes. But we were kids ourselves. My parents insisted on adoption. They connected with a couple who couldn't have children. Thomas and Sarah, Dad and Mum. Except they weren't just my parents. They were my adoptive parents. And nobody ever told me. Thomas is Sarah's brother, JB continues. When they adopted you, the family decided to keep it quiet. Small town, lots of gossip. They thought it would be easier if everyone believed you were theirs biologically. You look so much like them anyway. The pieces click together horribly. Dad is my biological uncle. Mom was my biological aunt. They raised me as their own, and I never knew. I was too young to remember anything different. Why didn't they tell me? I ask. Sarah wanted to. But Thomas worried about confusing you. Then Sarah got sick. JB trails off. I'm sorry. I promised to respect their wishes, to stay out of your life. But when I saw your profile, I couldn't help reaching out. I sit in stunned silence, my whole identity cracking apart. I can't face anyone at dinner. I claim a headache and stay in my room. Through the walls, I hear Victoria's voice, Dad's laugh, Amber describing something, my family. Except they're not my family. Not the way I thought. Dad is my uncle. Mom, the only mother I ever knew, wasn't my biological mother. And somewhere out there, JB exists. My real mother. The betrayal cuts deep. Why didn't they tell me? Did they think I couldn't handle it? That I was too fragile? I think about all those years. Mom reading me bedtime stories, Dad teaching me to ride a bike, family vacations to the lake. Were those memories less real because we didn't share direct DNA? No. Those memories are mine. Mom was my mother in every way that mattered. Dad is my father. Biology doesn't change that, but the lies. The lies hurt. The secret they kept from me. Even now, Dad continues the deception. I message JB again. Does Thomas know you contacted me? No. This is between us. I don't want to cause trouble, but trouble is already here. I'm sitting on information that changes everything. And I have no idea what to do with it. Emma texts, you okay? You seem off today. I can't even begin to explain. The next morning, I watch Dad at breakfast with new eyes. He's buttering toast, reading the news on his tablet, so normal. So familiar. Yet he's kept this massive secret my entire life. You're quiet this morning, he observes. I almost laugh. I'm always quiet. But now I have a reason. Just thinking about my science project, Victoria walks in. Still doing that genetics thing? I hope you're not boring everyone with it. A bitter thought crosses my mind. If only she knew what I discovered about genetics. About family. About the lies we tell ourselves. It's actually really interesting, I say, louder than usual. Like, You can discover things about your family you never knew. Secrets in your DNA. Dad looks up sharply. For a second, his face goes pale. Does he suspect? Does he know what I've found? But then Victoria laughs. Secrets in DNA? Riley, you watch too many detective shows. Real families don't have those kinds of mysteries. I meet Dad's eyes. He looks away first. In that moment, I know. He knows the truth could come out someday. He's been dreading it. Part of me wants to confront him right there. But I stay silent. I need time to process this first. I spend the afternoon researching adoption laws, birth records, anything that might give me more answers. I find my birth certificate. It lists Thomas and Sarah as my parents. No indication of adoption. Either they changed it somehow, or JB is lying. But the DNA doesn't lie. And I tested Dad's DNA myself. I'm down a rabbit hole of family secrets when Amber knocks. She enters without waiting, flopping on my bed. Mom's being intense again. She sighs. Sometimes I feel like I can't breathe. I close my laptop quickly. Yeah, you know, you're lucky, Amber says. You just do your own thing. I have all these expectations. Lucky. If only she knew. I'm not even who I think I am. Amber, did your dad? Did he stay in touch after he left? She looks surprised by the question. No. He took off when I was 3. Why? Just wondering. If you ever wanted to find him. Know where you came from. Amber shrugs. Mom says he was a loser. I don't need him. She studies me. You thinking about your mom? Always, I say quietly. And it's true. Mom, Sarah, will always be my mother. But now I'm wondering about JB too. About the woman who gave birth to me. About what could have been. The science fair is in 1 week. My project is polished, professional, comprehensive. But now it feels like evidence of my own family's lies. I've created an entire presentation about genetic inheritance. About how traits pass from parent to child. About how DNA reveals truth, and I've learned the biggest truth of all. My family has been lying to me since birth. Mrs. Chen reviews my project one last time. This is exceptional, Riley. The personal component, using your own DNA results, makes it so compelling. If only she knew what those results revealed. Victoria insists on coming to the science fair. We should support you, she says, though her tone suggests it's a chore. Even if it's not as exciting as Amber's art. I don't argue. Let her come. Let them all come. Maybe it's time the truth came out. The night before the fair, I can't sleep. I keep thinking about that moment when judges will ask about my project. When they'll say, tell us about your findings. Should I tell them everything? That DNA tests revealed my entire family structure was a lie? That my father is actually my uncle, my mother was my aunt, and my biological mother is a stranger messaging me on a DNA website? Or do I keep pretending? Keep the secret Dad has kept for 18 years. The science fair arrives. I set up my presentation in the school gymnasium, surrounded by other projects. Models of volcanoes, solar systems, plant growth experiments. Mine stands out. Professional, detailed, scientific. Dad comes. Victoria comes. Even Amber comes, looking bored but present. They stand awkwardly in front of my display as I explain genetic inheritance, DNA markers, family trees. This chart shows how eye color is inherited, I say, pointing. Brown is dominant, blue is recessive. 2 brown-eyed parents can have a blue-eyed child only if both carry the recessive gene. Victoria yawns. Dad watches me intensely. I continue. I tested my own DNA for this project. Here are my results. I point to the ancestry breakdown, the health information. Then I reach the relatives section. This part was most interesting. I discovered close relatives I didn't know about. My voice stays steady. Including a 50% match, a parent-child relationship. Dad goes completely still. His face drains of color, but when I tested another family member for comparison, the results were unexpected. Only 25% shared DNA. That's consistent with an uncle-niece relationship, not parent-child. Victoria frowns, not understanding. Amber looks confused. But Dad knows. Oh, Dad knows, so what does that mean? A judge asks, intrigued. I look directly at Dad. It means genetics reveals truth. Even when families keep secrets. The moment hangs there. Dad's face crumbles. Victoria looks between us, starting to understand. Amber whispers, wait, what? The judges move on to the next project, but my family stays frozen. Finally, Dad speaks, Riley, can we talk? Outside, we walk out to the parking lot in silence. Victoria and Amber trail behind, sensing drama. Dad turns to me, eyes red. How did you find out? DNA test. For my project. Then I found my biological mother. Then I tested your DNA. My voice shakes. Why didn't you tell me, your mother, Sarah, and I wanted to. But you were so young. Then she got sick, and we thought we had more time. Tears streamed down his face. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, who am I? I whisper. If you're not my father, if Mom wasn't my mother, who am I? Dad grabs my shoulders. You're Riley. You're my daughter in every way that matters. Sarah and I loved you from the moment we held you. Blood doesn't change that, Victoria interrupts. Wait, Riley isn't yours biologically? She's adopted, the way she says it, like I'm suddenly worth less. Like this explains why I'm so different from perfect Amber. Dad turns on her. She's my daughter? That's all that matters. But Victoria's wheels are turning. I can see it in her face. That night, everything falls apart. Victoria confronts Dad in the kitchen while I'm upstairs. I hear every word through the vents. You never told me she was adopted. Victoria shouts. That's a pretty big secret, Thomas. It wasn't relevant, Dad argues. She's my daughter, but she's not, is she? She's your niece. That's completely different. Victoria's voice turns cold. No wonder she's so difficult. She probably has all kinds of genetic issues from her biological parents. Teenage pregnancy, giving up a child. What kind of people do that? I hear something crash. Dad's voice is low and furious. Don't you dare talk about my sister that way. Sarah gave that girl everything. Sarah lied to her. You both did. And now look, Riley's out there exposing family secrets at a science fair. I can't listen anymore. I grab my jacket and run downstairs, past the kitchen, out the front door. I don't know where I'm going. I just need to leave. My phone buzzes. JB, can we meet? I'm in town. I'd love to see you. I stare at the message. My biological mother wants to meet me. The woman who gave me up. The woman who gave me life. Without thinking, I type, yes. When? Within minutes. We've arranged to meet tomorrow at a coffee shop downtown. Tomorrow, I'll meet the woman who started it all. I walk through the dark streets, my whole life unraveling behind me. But maybe, just maybe, there's a chance to rebuild it into something true.